On the evening of September 27, 1994, the MS Estonia, a large roll-on/roll-off passenger and car ferry, set sail from Tallinn, Estonia, bound for Stockholm, Sweden. On board were 989 people, including passengers and crew, many of whom were returning home or traveling for business. The weather forecast predicted rough seas, but for the seasoned ferry operators of the Baltic Sea, this was nothing out of the ordinary. As the Estonia cruised through the dark waters, passengers relaxed in their cabins, dined, or enjoyed the onboard entertainment, unaware that the night would soon turn into one of the most harrowing in maritime history.
Shortly after midnight, in the early hours of September 28, the Estonia encountered severe weather, with waves reaching heights of 4 to 6 meters, 13 to 20 feet. At approximately 1 a.m., disaster struck. The vessel's bow visor, a massive steel door that protected the car deck, failed under the relentless pounding of the waves. This failure allowed seawater to flood the car deck, destabilizing the ship. Within moments, the Estonia began to list heavily to starboard. The situation deteriorated rapidly, and by 1:30 a.m., the ship was listing at an alarming angle, making it nearly impossible for passengers to move or escape.
As the Estonia tipped further, chaos erupted on board. Passengers and crew scrambled to reach lifeboats and life rafts, but the severe list and violent waves made evacuation nearly impossible. Darkness, cold sea water, and panic added to the challenges. Many passengers were trapped in their cabins or corridors as the ship's angle became too steep to navigate. Within just 30 minutes of the initial failure, the Estonia capsized and sank, disappearing beneath the waves at 1:50 a.m. The frigid waters of the Baltic Sea became a desperate scene of survival, with hundreds of people clinging to debris or struggling in life jackets, hoping for rescue.
Of the 989 people on board, only 137 survived. The icy waters and harsh conditions claimed the lives of 852 individuals, making the Estonia disaster the deadliest peacetime maritime tragedy in European waters. The majority of the victims succumbed to hypothermia or drowned, as rescue efforts were delayed by the stormy weather and the remote location. Families and loved ones were left devastated, mourning the loss of so many lives in what should have been a routine crossing. The sheer scale of the tragedy sent shockwaves across Europe and the world, raising urgent questions about ferry safety and the events leading to the disaster.
In the aftermath, an international joint accident investigation commission comprising officials from Estonia, Finland, and Sweden was formed to uncover the cause of the disaster. The investigation concluded that the failure of the bow visor and its locking mechanisms was the primary cause, allowing seawater to flood the car deck and destabilize the ship. The Commission's report highlighted design flaws in the vessel, inadequate maintenance, and the extreme weather conditions as contributing factors. However, the findings were not without controversy. Survivors and experts raised questions about the rapid sinking, leading to conspiracy theories and calls for further investigation into the possibility of structural or mechanical failures beyond the bow visor.
The Estonia disaster became a turning point for maritime safety. prompting widespread reforms in ferry operations and design. New regulations were introduced, requiring stricter inspections and retrofitting of existing vessels to prevent similar incidents. The International Maritime Organization, IMO, mandated enhanced safety protocols, including improved evacuation procedures and the installation of monitoring systems for bow visors and other critical components. The tragedy also underscored the importance of emergency preparedness and led to the development of more rigorous training for ferry crews. While these measures have significantly improved ferry safety, the memory of the Estonia disaster remains a stark reminder of the risks inherent in maritime travel.
For the families of the victims, the tragedy of the Estonia has left an indelible scar. Many have sought answers and accountability, leading to ongoing legal battles and renewed calls for further investigation. In 2020, new underwater footage revealed previously unseen damage to the vessel's hull, reigniting debates over the official findings and prompting a fresh investigation. For survivors and the bereaved, the search for truth and closure continues, as they honor the memory of their loved ones and advocate for justice and transparency.
Every year, on September 28th, memorial services are held in Estonia, Sweden, and Finland to honor the lives lost in the disaster. Monuments stand as solemn reminders of the tragedy, including the Broken Line Memorial in Tallinn and the Memory Anchor in Stockholm. These sites provide a space for reflection and remembrance, ensuring that the victims of the Estonia disaster are never forgotten. The story of the Estonia serves as a powerful reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring need for vigilance and safety in maritime travel.
The Estonia disaster remains one of the most significant maritime tragedies in modern history. It not only claimed hundreds of lives, but also reshaped the global conversation around ferry safety and disaster preparedness. The lessons learned from that fateful night continue to influence maritime practices, saving lives and preventing future tragedies. For the families, survivors, and the world, the legacy of the Estonia disaster is a call to remember, to learn, and to ensure that such a catastrophe is never repeated.